Hey guys. Hey guys, it looks like little technical difficulties here today. I didn't start you off with our nice warm welcome, so why don't I go ahead and do that and give us a few minutes to get ready for our show. We're technically delayed. Our guest is not quite here, but we're ready to chip in and talk hockey. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition, Season 4, Episode 21, Two Guys in Hockey Talk. Hey, I'd like to welcome my co-host over here, Pavel the Cat Insider. How's your week gone?
It's been wonderful, and I'm an insider because I am inside my house, and that's where I love to be.
With your cats!
Exactly. I am avoiding the cold. No, it's been pretty good. How are you doing, Evan?
Hey, I am doing absolutely fabulous here today. One thing, though, we planned for our shows for Glen Ringdahl. He is the former vice president of the Vancouver Canucks, past president of the BC Lions, and past president of the Chilliwack Chiefs of the BCHL, who brought the team back in. Hey, Coach, how you doing, Coach Dante? Man, yo. So anyway, he's to join us live. He was going to come on, be ready 5 minutes. He's not here yet. So I don't know if you're around right now, Glenn, but just go into the link that we sent out to your email, and then that should shoot you in. So we're going to fill up the time with just nothing talk until Glenn gets here. Either that or you have us for the whole show.
That's fine. Okay, so while we wait for Glenn to come on the show, I do want to shout out LeBron James for for scoring the most points of all time in the NBA. And I know this is a hockey podcast. Don't at me, because what I wanted to share is that people got off and they stopped the game, and the GM Adam Silver came on to the court and said, hey, like, congrats. They did the, kind of a ceremony, mini little thing before they got back to the game with the Thunder. But I wonder, Evan, and I'm going to ask you, do you think that the game will stop when Ovechkin scores the 895 goal mark and beats Wayne Gretzky? Will they stop the game? Let's say it's mid-second period.
Okay, so two things. Ovechkin must actually get to that point first. But let's He's not there yet. He's still aging, even though he's an ageless wonder goal scorer. But let's just say it does. My guess is they are probably going to have a 2-3 minute ceremony that will commemorate him. I am sure they will do their best to even bring it in on the big screen. A congratulations from Wayne Gretzky. So I wonder if they pre-tape that and have that done with Gretzky in advance so that they're actually ready to go with it. That would be my thought.
Or like they did in the NBA last night, where they have Wayne Gretzky in the house, wherever it is that he's playing, and potentially.
But is he going to follow him? Like I can't. What if he doesn't get that goal 1 night, 2 nights? Like Gretzky's not going to go from arena to arena.
Why not? You're telling me Gretzky doesn't want to watch hockey? Get out of here, Evan.
Well, does he want to watch Washington Capitol hockey?
Either way, so it was a nice little honor. But as an aside, you can put up the post, but you guys can follow us every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can give us a shout, a follow, a like on Facebook, on YouTube. We appreciate it. We love subscribers. We love having you there if you enjoy our content. Give us a follow on Twitter. You can argue with Evan about how wrong he is about everything about Ovechkin at Revenev. Or you can follow me at hockey_2, and we'll have a good, healthy dialogue, and we can talk about how Evan is wrong.
Hey, sounds good. Hey, I got some text coming in thinking that we don't have a show, so I'm not sure if one of our streams has not got out or someone's in on an old line. But if you have some friends out there, definitely just go ahead. Take advantage. We are every Wednesday night live right here. You can come in, comment, join in. But definitely we are here, Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, and like, and you can check us out. Just so you know, all our comments come into this page directly that we have through StreamYard. And I'd like to also thank our partners at the Sports Empire Network. They are also on all their social media streams, casting tonight, our Two Guys and Hockey Talk. Well, hey, there's been some interesting things happen. Let's talk some post All-Star game. Well, we have some time here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so there seems to be this mix. I believe I remember you talking about this before, that the All-Star game, first of all, is the All-Star game for kids? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Are parents bringing the kids?
Yes, most likely.
Okay, sounds good. So if the parents are bringing the kids, why was the skills contest, which is primarily for kids, that many people believe, why was it half full? Half full. That means a quarter of the stadium of kids. And this is supposed to be for kids. And they're in a warm state of Florida. Like, I felt that was an embarrassment to the NHL. Florida should have at least given out tickets or done something. Like, to not have a full arena when you're doing that. Are you serious? Come on, guys.
Well, allegedly, the ratings for the TV through ESPN, they had quite a few viewers. It was an increase from last year. So clearly, whatever people were doing, they were happy online. Now, that's not what I heard from people that I chatted with. People weren't very happy with even the ethic and the effort that players put in. They just seemed kind of like whatever, whether it was the Sarah Nurse girl and Igor Shesterkin, whether, or like the skills competition or the hardest slap shot where you had mostly forwards, and Elias Pettersson winning. And that was a pretty nice shot, and Ovi being there, being one of the first forwards to beat that record in a while.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them there. It's nice for the ingenuity. I'm never going to fault the NHL for trying different and unique things. I think it's really good. I think the problem is that a lot of the players that were supposed to go either were injured or taking some time to recuperate. I think of Austin Matthews immediately. And I think in general, it is what it is. I mean, the game was pretty fun to watch a little bit, the Pacific versus the Atlantic versus the Metro versus the Central Division. But
so number one, you're saying that the TV ratings were good for the All-Star game, even though the arena,
that's what they're saying.
and that's fair. A lot of people spend more time there than actually in the arena. But still, I think when you're showing in an arena of skill contest, and looks like an afternoon game, which it essentially was, and there's almost nobody in there. Like, I mean, what does that say to people? What does it say professionally? How do you market that? And this is what I am going to say. Kids do not come to watch hockey pucks be golfed onto some green. They do not come to watch somebody pretend to be Happy Gilmore. They don't come to watch Ovi Jr. try and score a breakaway goal. The goalies don't pretend to kind of play. Like, come on. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. And I have no problem with skills contests when they are hockey related. I had no issue even in Vegas when they took the puck and they actually had to hit it onto a certain area. I had no problem in Florida with the surfboards. But like you said, the lackluster part, let's have a real breakaway. Let's see the Linus Omark moves. Let's see the Connor McDavid moves. Let's see guys like Matthew Tkachuk put it between the legs on a breakaway. Like there's so much they could do, Pavel, and that's what irritates. That's what irritates me, that they think that we're stupid enough to just keep going online and watching, because obviously no one wants to go to the arena. And I almost wonder if they're just faking it right now and make, like, Gary Bettman, go get a different job. I'm sick of you.
Well, that's your daily rant. Thank you for sharing that. I mean,
okay, I'm not done.
I agree with you overall with everything. But the one thing I will say as a caveat is that Joe, who is down in Florida, she's a season ticket holder. She's a fan of the show. Yes. She got to go to the event. She said it was a good time, and she posted a video of Matthew Tkachuk signing a jersey, and I believe it was the retro one, the beach one, the really cool one, for her son. So I appreciate that aspect. Like when the players are on the carpet and they're walking around and they're signing and autographing and connecting with the fans, that's great. And you do have some of the younger guys who, you know, they're trying to embrace this identity. But the problem is, this isn't basketball. And I know I don't want to keep reverting back to basketball because it's a hockey podcast. But where's the excitement when you have a slam dunk competition? Because people love seeing that. You know, I remember back in the day, they would wear like a Superman cape and they would jump and dunk. You need something like that. And last year, I think a few of them did a really cool job. I think it was Trevor Zegras who dressed up as the dodgeball characters, blindfolded himself and scored. Right? Yeah. And he was trying something different and unique, but
it still was pure talent. They might have dressed up. See, and as much as I don't like that gimmicky part, they still showed off hockey skills. And it's not hockey skills to put a puck in a place where it doesn't even belong. And it's not hockey skills to have a back and forth, two people on a goalie. I mean, it's just not real. I'd also like to say, let's get away with the 3-on-3 hockey. I think that I'm actually sick of it as well. What I notice, there are players, I'm going to name some. Matthew Tkachuk worked hard for that crowd. He actually worked hard in that game.
He's from that market. He knows what that market
Mitch Marner worked hard in that thing. Yeah. I am going to say this. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl did not work hard. I see them play often because we follow all their games. And that was not an honest effort put in, which I get it. You go there, you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to overdo it. But the competition, they said, let's open the ice up to do it. Now, I did have someone from my family who doesn't watch hockey very much catch part of the game while I was catching on my computer here at home. And they actually commented, oh, this looks like a fun game of shinny. That looks pretty exciting, right? You know, it should not look like a game of shinny, first of all. So I'm glad that he liked it. But the point is let's get back to 5-on-5. Let's make Western Conference versus Eastern Conference. I want to just need 3 lines, or maybe you go with 2 lines and you make some people you invite for the skills contest and some people you invite for the game. But I like this is what I'd like. 2 lines, okay? 2 lines of hockey. So you got 4 defensemen and 6 forwards, maybe 1 extra to throw in, and also do the rookie game. Maybe something like that, or not rookie and sophomore, 22 and under, or something along those lines that play in a separate game before. That makes it exciting. I actually like the rookie game. They did it, was it 2 years running? It was exciting. It was nice to see, and I think that they need to bring it back.
So I have some ideas for next year, and I know it's been announced, and we posted it on Facebook, so give us a follow. It's going to be in Toronto. So here's what I predict. Here's some wild antics. Maybe you can agree, disagree. You can shut me down, Evan, or you guys out there can tell me. You make 2 superstars of the game who are from Ontario in their own right.
Okay.
There. So Connor McDavid versus Austin Matthews. They are team captains. Of course, Austin Matthews being from Toronto, like in the sense, like he's from Arizona, but being on the team versus Connor McDavid, who's from that area. They pick their players. They pick them. Now, you change it up where you have something like all 5 forwards versus all 5 defensemen, right? Or you pick all veterans versus all rookies. You throw them up against each other and you see what happens, because that's something exciting. Why do you think the World Cup was so much fun a couple of years ago when they had Team of North America? Because they had all these young talents come together and play and compete, and they looked fun and they were enjoying themselves, and you could see the next generation of athletes coming through. So if you are going to promote the game, get the Jack Hugheses, get the Trevor Zegrases out there, and I struggle with this thing where you have to have a superstar from every team, because I get it. You want representation, but I don't think every player should have to go, right? And I want more personality. Why isn't Ryan Reeves there? He would talk trash nonstop. Why not get an older player who's retired back on the ice? Like Subban was there doing some of the work. Why not get him back in skates with his Montreal or New Jersey Devil jersey, or maybe a mix, and he plays in the game and he has a little fun with it, right? And he does some silly. So like, in my mind, you have to bring people who have character and personality, because some hockey players are very robotic and it's tough to enjoy.
So this is interesting. I always feel like the skills contest piece is too short, right? What if the skills contest, following the skills contest, we have an all-star alumni? All-star alumni following. So yeah, they're going to play around. It's going to be more like that glorified shinny. And then on the actual day, you have one game, the full game, and then you also have the rookies that play before it. That would actually interest me. It may not. I understand that it might be different. By the way, hey Zil, how you doing down in Sacramento tonight? So what did you're saying? Ice cross. What do you think she means by ice cross?
Ice crossing? I don't know, some kind of event that involves ice crossing. She's your family, not mine. I don't know what this is. But I got a better idea. So if you want representation and you want voting involved, because you want fans to get part of it, but you know that sometimes fans will vote for silly players like a John Scott, why not vote for your best prospect to go to the game? Why not have a prospect come from one of your AHL affiliates? They may have played up to 9 games. That's the rule. No more. And you get them out there. So you bring up someone like a Matthew Nyes from Toronto, and you let him play and you let him showcase, and they have a little fun with that, right? Because I felt like the AHL All-Star Game was much funner, more simpler, more to the point, and really focused on what was not a distraction, and that's hockey. And I think people forget that they drew too much, and there's too much going on, and at the end of the day, it's hockey. It's a skill where you have 2 skates on your feet with a stick, some equipment, and you're trying to get the puck in the net. Simple as that. Do something creative with that. Because I've seen more funner things in the NHL this year in mid-games than I saw at the All-Star break. But that's just me, right?
How about a game of fighting in hot? No, I'm just joking.
Why not? But make it fun where you have like the balloon, like sumo wrestler outfits, where you, or like big body outfits, right? So that you can protect yourself. Why not?
So let's do something here. Let's go ahead. Who would be your? I want you to think of putting a team of all-time tough guys. Who would you select? Now I know we don't maybe know the right wing, left wing, center, but let's just grab a team of tough guys. Grab me 6 players, a goalie, and 5 players.
6 players. Okay. Well, in goaltender, I'm going to go with Ron Hextall.
Okay.
So Ron Hextall can really throw a mean punch. I mean, Patrick Waugh's up there too. There's a few others. On forwards, I'm going to go with Marty McSorley.
Okay.
Cam Neely. And who else?
Now Cam Neely is a tough guy. You're putting him in.
Yeah. You don't think he's a tough guy?
I guess he was tough, but
Ty Domi would be my other one.
Okay. How about Max?
Okay, you're just throwing me on those. I got to think of tough guy defensemen, because like everyone in the 70s and 80s was super tough, and like they really brought it. He's a bit more of a controversial figure. Actually, the next two guys are, but Rafi Torres, I would put.
Yeah.
I know he's a forward.
Yeah,
Rafi Torres would be a good one, and
he can slug him.
His what's his name from the New Jersey Devil, who injured Lindros? Scott, not Niedermeyer.
Oh, Scott Stevens.
Scott Stevens. I was trying to remember the last name. Yeah, he would be a good defensive, like, big boy that could, take some guys out.
Okay, fair. Okay, who's your goalie again?
Ron Hextall.
Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, so
you're not even paying attention to my answers. You're just writing down your own.
No, I'm getting myself ready here. I'm actually in communication right now with Glen Ringdale. So, let me throw it at you. So my tough guy is Billy Smith of the New York Islanders from the late 70s and 80s. I'm going to take Billy Smith. In my forwards, I'm going to take Tiger Williams of the Vancouver Canucks. I know they're not all the biggest, toughest guys, but I also not just because you're not either. We need a little skill. So anyway, Tiger Williams, ready? I am going to take Bob Probert.
Okay.
And in his prime, before he got knocked unconscious by Scott Stevens, I'm going to take Eric Lindros. He can do my goal scoring for me with Bob Probert, who can kick him in there because he can swing them and hit them good too. Now, back on defense, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Chris Pronger. Okay. I'm going to take him back there. And
he's more physical than, like, he's tough, but he's more physical.
Yeah, but man, he can cross check you in the face. He's mean. I mean, he elbows whatever you want. And I'm going to take Charlie Huddy of the Edmonton Oilers back in the day. Okay. And be able to run with that. What's that? I mean, yeah, my team would whoop your team.
Sure it would. Let's see it in action. Whoever's retired, get on the ice and prove Evan and I wrong. Who's going to win this battle?
Oh, okay, hang on. There we go.
Oh, come on.
No bias there. No bias.
I sense some subjectivism there. Maybe potentially nepotism. I don't know.
Okay, hey, before we went on air here, while we're still waiting, Glen's having a hard time signing in, so I've just sent him a relink to see if we can get him on joining the show. Just so you guys know, if something does not work out tonight, we will definitely make sure to get him on another night if something comes up. So, okay, so let me throw this out there. You and I were talking. There was some stuff on Twitter that I was out and about. And by the way, why don't you go and mention where people can find us and follow us?
You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube at Two Guys in Hockey Talk. You can find us on Twitter at hockey_2 for myself, or Revenev for Evan. And you can give us a follow, like, share, subscribe, send us a message, your thoughts. We always like engaging people. We have a lot of messages behind the scenes. We connect with quite a few of you, and we like making new friends and just kind of connecting about hockey and all things sports, but hockey primarily.
Exactly. And a lot of the folks that we do have on, we do connect through Twitter. Many of the folks that's where some of our connections have been. By the way, if you are a hockey fan, Twitter is really the place to talk all your Twitter. Talk all your Twitter.
Talk all your Twitter, baby.
To talk all your trash is on Twitter. And then you get into those Twitter wars. But this is, as we always say at Two Guys in Hockey Talk, do all you want, trash talk all you want, but just be respectful when you do it, okay?
Agreed.
That's all that we ask. If you even want to comment in here, what's that? Great cap, Evan. Oh, thanks, Les. You'll notice that we got her on here.
we have a few connections tonight.
Well, and just for those that do not know, so today we have Glen Ringdale, former vice president of the Vancouver Canucks and past president of the BC Lions, as well as past president of the Chilliwack Chiefs of the BCHL. Right now, we're just having some connection problems getting on, but we promise you, if we're not able to get on near the end of the show, we will. And by the way, that is brought to you by Verhaeghe Law. Verhaeghe Law. Do you need someone to help you with the law? It's Verhaeghe Law. By the way, Verhaeghe Law is my lawyer and also the son-in-law of Glenn Ringdell, who set it up. So that's my joke. I'm advertising for Verhaeghe Law
okay.
for setting up this meeting with us.
I was waiting for the punchline or for the actual what's it called, endorsement that we're getting from them. News to me.
Yeah. You're like, woo, money.
Yeah, lawyer money, not just any type of money.
Yeah, well, I actually maybe I have to have a conversation with Tim over at Verhaeghe Law and see if we can hit them up, because who knows, some of the stuff we might do on here will get our site could be brought down by YouTube or Twitter, or you know how social media is with all that kind of stuff, right?
I do.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and follow us on Sports Empire too. Yes, and
we're also going to the game this Friday for the U of A.
Yes.
Pandas.
Yes.
Our former guest Howie Draper, the head coach of the ladies team, was kind enough to connect us with some tickets. So that's a nice little perk. But we're bringing a few buddies along, and we're gonna have a good time. So we're hoping maybe we could do a little something for you guys on Friday around 7 to 8 p.m. So keep tuned, stay tuned. It'll be fun. Make sure you're following, liking, and giving us a follow on YouTube. That should be fun. But and then I got something in the works as well. But Evan, it's been go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You were going to say something else before I.
So respectful. I love it. I was going to say, I can't believe that we are now in the last stretch of the season, like 30 plus games for most teams. And we're kind of getting a sense of what the playoff bracket's going to look like. Now, I know that Sidney Crosby made some comments at the All-Star game, if we're going to go back to that, about the format and how the playoffs are determined right now, with the first three teams and then the wild cards. And he believes, and he really reiterated this, that the 1-8 format is the best format. What are your thoughts?
I've been saying this for a long time. 1-8, I love that format. They say the 1-8 first, so you have a Western versus Eastern to kind of make it traditional. I've always said 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15. I would prefer to have crossovers across the board, but that's not going to happen. And so, in light of that, now it was interesting because Gary Batman like to come to the rescue and say, well, there's no problem. There's no problem with the format the way the format is. Yes, I'm mimicking Gary Bettman when he's on TV. Gary will never come on our show.
Any ever problems with Gary? It seems like everything is perfect.
Yeah. No, it's okay. And by the way, everybody's investigating, and we'll let you know when they investigate. Well, actually, Gary's already behind because that pretty much has been done, and he's delaying some responses right now. And I don't think they're just trying to find a way to lawyer up. Maybe they should call my buddy over at Verhaeghe Law and get some extra help, because Gary Bettman is no good at the law. I'm telling you. Okay, so Crosby's remarks. Was it Crosby? McDavid was talking about something too.
Both.
Yes.
Both of them. But I think Crosby speaks louder in terms of his presence, given what he's done for the league.
His leadership. Yeah. And well, the fact that he is McDavid would get in the Hall of Fame. Maybe if his career were to be over tomorrow, he would likely be in there, but not maybe on a first or second vote. But Crosby is a Hall of Famer. He is one of the greatest of all time. And you really need to listen. The game changed when Mario Lemieux spoke. The game changed when Wayne Gretzky spoke. You need to work with your superstar players and understand they know hockey better than you, Gary. You think you know marketing. You don't know I am on a rant with that guy tonight, man. I can't. It frustrates me because he makes no sense at all anytime. And the wild card, that was the other part. You talked about the wild card. Well, you don't need a wild card if you have 1 versus 8, Gary.
Yeah. And you still have 16 teams in, right? So it's half the league.
If he wants, maybe. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
But if he wants a wild card because he wants the excitement, why don't you kind of do like Major League Baseball, where maybe that 8th place, the team, so the last 2 teams in 8 and 9 have a play-in just for those 2 teams on both sides, and and literally it's a best of 2 game. It's 2 nights back to back. No, because they won't have enough time. They won't allow it. There'll be too much time to take up when the other teams are playing, right?
Well, they're looking at extending the schedule to 84 games now and shortening the preseason, so maybe you can make that work. But that's just I don't know. That's just my thing. I think people need to remind themselves or to remember that Gary Bettman works for the owners and he's making them money, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's all about money. He doesn't like the games will keep on. He'll keep promoting as best he can and expanding in the best way he can. And I mean, good for Seattle, good for Vegas, good for all these extra teams that have really come into the league in the last few years. But at the end of the day, it's about the dollar bills. And I think that the owners are happy, especially if he is claiming that there is record revenue happening, close to $6 billion. Now, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not just easy cash, direct cash flow of $6 billion, but, because there's a lot of overhead costs for every organization. And that also includes the 5,000 arena in Arizona. But the problem is that he doesn't really care. So I'm wondering with this new announcement with the new NHLPA president, Matt Walsh, I believe it is, in his history working as director of labor in the Biden administration, as well as being mayor of Boston. I wonder, why they brought him in and if they want a little bit more pushback when the next CBA comes up. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think the players need a little bit more leverage. I know it's 50-50. I know they own escrow. I know all this stuff, but the problem is sometimes, again, as I talked about the, All-Star game, it's too much. It's so many things going on, and one of my biggest pet peeves this year are the digital boards. I can't stand it.
Oh, absolutely.
Just that is like, get rid of them. And especially if a player's wearing a white jersey and you can't see them in the corner. Or I watched recently a game, Anaheim versus Dallas, and the puck had a little tail electric thing going around it. And I was like,
on the digital?
No, on the digital, little tail on the puck during the power play.
So the funniest thing that I saw is they were on a power play. I forget even which team I was watching, and they were they were coming around the corner. Okay, they were coming around the corner to the net, and on the other side on the digital board, it had right there a truck about ready to collide with the player. And at the same time, another player collided with him. So it literally looked like a three-way collision in the corner. I was annoyed. No, you are right, Zylstra. It is not in live games. It was something she was just bringing up that you don't notice that in the live games. That is absolutely and again, 100% correct.
There's something really refreshing about watching a game live. Like there's an atmosphere that you really, get a sense of. And I think if you guys go back and watch our episode last week, where Sean Fiery talked about that, he really nails that down, that idea of like the atmosphere of the arena and what it brings and that culture, of that arena, of that fan base, whether it's St. Louis, whether it's Vancouver, Edmonton, whatever it may be, they each have their own unique take on it, right? So it's even though it's still ice or hockey on ice, it's still like a really cool thing. I think the NHL is just trying to do too much, and sometimes they're looking for silly 100%. Ways of revenue, and it's just like sometimes it's not worth the dollar. Just let it grow slowly, gradually.
Oh, right? Absolutely right. I mean, it gets kind of monotonous after a certain period of time. It's just like, come on. So, okay. So I do want to make mention. So, Glen has just got back to us. He has just contacted us through our email. Has just let us know. So if I look like I'm distracted, I've been trying to set things up. There has been some technical glitches. He has agreed to come back on the show at time, and we're going to preset and make sure he can get on to our site here. So we are going to reschedule him. So I'm not sure.
You're coming in a little fuzzy there, Evan.
Am I coming in fuzzy?
Yeah, you were coming in a little fuzzy. It was sounding like a.
Oh, really? Am I still fuzzy?
I know Seattle are Kraken, but are you underwater with the Kraken, or what's happening?
Was I coming in fuzzy? I'll just bring it over a little bit more. How's that? Am I okay now?
Well, you still sound annoying to me, but whatever. It's still clear at least.
Okay, so anyway, so the bottom line is we're having the technical difficulties. We're going to straighten that out. We're going to try to get Glenn back on next week. Now the on the 15th, however, now do I got my dates right? Where are we here? 15th. Yeah, so we're going to see if I can set
Valentine's
Yeah,
Day
yeah,
for
and
all
then
you celebrating that one.
and then we have Jeffrey Ad, who will be on to represent the Buffalo Sabres. And following that, we have a group, it's called Five for Fighting, who has been putting videos up for the ECHL and a lot of the fights they've had over the years to save. But YouTube and the big world of YouTube has shut him down. They have been pushing stuff aside, but they're letting other people letting them kind of put stuff that they're not supposed to. So we're going to give them a platform. We're going to bring them on and talk ECHL. We haven't had a chance. The Toledo Walleyes, that's one of the teams that I have one of the jerseys for, thanks to Zill, are in the ECHL. We'll talk about some of the other teams and give you guys some updates, but we want to talk about the whole thing of what he's doing for hockey in and around. And then hopefully next week we can get set up to have Glen Ringdale back on. Not back on, have him on for our first time just because of technical difficulties tonight. In addition, due to some of you mentioning some different ideas, we kind of want to do a PG show. That means I'm probably going to be a lot nicer to Gary Bettman and other people. I will be careful what I say, but we like to bring on some kids who play minor hockey. And so we're going to bring a collection of kids and their parents and older sibling with them. We'll probably bring 4 of them on as what the goal is. And we're going to talk about maybe their favorite moments. So one of them I've got kind of planned. Just recently, they scored 8 goals in a game, so they think they're Wayne Gretzky already, Dad's saying. So we're going to let the kids talk. You know what they say, the old show, kids say the darndest things.
Oh, yeah. There was that game where Sam Gagner scored 8 points, I believe it was. So it was 4 goals, 4 assists. And before that game, people were saying, who is Sam Gagner? The next game, they were saying, where is Sam Gagner? Just because he was so lethal.
Where is he? Well, we'll have to tell this little young fella he beat Sam Gagner's record of 8 points because he doesn't have 8 points. He's got 8 goals.
Wow. That's very impressive. I feel bad for that goalie GAA and save percentage.
Okay. Hey, so let's kind of turn this around a little bit. Okay. So I was going to talk about this earlier, and then I just sidetracked myself somewhere else on my rants about Gary or something. Let's go back and talk about Dylan Cousins' contract.
Let's do it.
Dylan, yeah. So I have a little bit of an issue with this, the way players are being paid. You got a guy who is at 0.56 points per game, even though this year he's at a pace of about 70 points for the season. He's going to be making over $7 million on a 7-year contract per year. They have a lot of faith that Dylan looks good. He looks good, but is he actually worth that kind of money? Obviously, in a couple of weeks, we'll talk to Jeffrey Ad about that, get his opinion on the Buffalo. But, I don't know. That contract, you seem to like it. Tell us why.
I do. I think it's a smart deal. And as you've noticed in the NHL in the last few years, you don't get paid anymore for what you have done in the past. Like, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, Drew Doughty, after winning cups with those teams. It's about what you will accomplish and do, what your threshold will be. You saw it in Ottawa with Tim Stützle and what he got paid. And it's paying off right now for the Ottawa Senators, albeit they're struggling as a team making the playoffs. And you're seeing it more and more. And I think Buffalo is smart here. Now, let's for a moment appreciate the fact that Buffalo hasn't had any bad PR in the last little bit, and that they have really turned the ship around. So, Don Granato has got that team playing. They won the Eichel trade right now. Eichel has struggled in Vegas. Granted, injury has really taken, but overall, Vegas is struggling. Alex Tuck has been an elite player. Kyle Okposo is solid. Tage Thompson has been phenomenal. He will gain Hart votes this year. Whether he'll be top 5 or top 3, that remains to be seen. We're not voters here. And I think that, you have to pay for a player that can potentially produce. And Dylan Cousins, I've watched him for a very long time. and I watched him in World Juniors for Team Canada. He was electric. He was fun. He had speed, and he's going to do well for that top six. And he can fill in that role and be what he needs to be, and he can take his time to develop. So I think it's a good contract. And again, 7.1 seems like a lot right now, but in 3 to 4 years when the cap goes up, it's going to be a steal, right?
Okay. So the one thing that you said earlier is you said that you're paying players not for what they're going to do, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But then why did JT Miller make so much money? It wasn't because of what he's going to do. It was because of what he did. So the problem is, exactly. But he just did it. So when a player has one good year, they now pay them for what they just did. So that's where you're put in this conundrum, because the players that are older, if you dropped him down to 40 points, but if you have a good year, like say it's your UFA year, you got a lot of money coming your way. I mean, if we look at Bo Horvat's deal that he just
younger players, like older players is different. These are young players, right? That are being paid.
But young players though, they
Matthew Tkachuk just got paid very well, and he only had one good season.
But did you not
expected to perform?
But did you not just say that it's not like the old days where the older players got paid?
Yeah,
because of what they used to do.
Well, you look. I just gave 3 examples. Drew Doughty got paid his big contract after what he did, winning 2 Stanley Cups for LA. Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane got paid big after they had won 3 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks. Erik Karlsson, for everything he did, he got paid.
So, what do you think Patrick Kane's contract is next year?
Depending on where he plays, though. Like, that's the problem. If he stays in Chicago, they can pay him probably between $7 and $9 million again.
He's making nothing under $8 million, no matter where he goes. Nothing under $8 million.
If he's somewhere else, but he can make good money in Chicago because they have the cap room.
He ain't staying in Chicago.
He goes to Buffalo.
It's hurting him already. So let's move off of these guys.
How is it hurting him? It's not hurting him. He doesn't want to go anywhere. Reports are saying that he doesn't want to go anywhere.
What?
And he's injured.
Whose reports are you following? Like, what report is there is no report that says he doesn't want to go. It says that he's undecided whether he wants to or not. It doesn't say he doesn't want to go.
Well, he doesn't. Like, if he wanted to go, he would have made a notion. And I don't know if he's going to go.
No, because this is all about getting the most out of your player to see what the team's like. Number one, he did say he wanted to see what his team would be like this year.
Yeah.
Well, this is the worst he has ever done in his history in the NHL. Yeah. He's not even a point-of-game player this year. And the reason is
he's dealing with a back injury.
Yeah, but it's not just the back injury. It's the players can't get him the puck. They're losing possession most of the time. They're making him have to play defense. But they're going for Connor Bedard or Adam Fantilli. Yeah. That's the whole point here, right? And so anyway, that's the part that threw me off. But Patrick Kane, this right now, he's going somewhere, and I'll tell you why. He needs to pack his stats to be able to show a team, whether it's where he goes or somewhere else, so that he can actually they can still think he can play this game of hockey at a point per game. And so he is going to a team that can actually help him produce. That's where he's going there. That's why I still say the Rangers. And the Rangers are interested. So I think it's happening. Hello, Capo Caco. Welcome to Chicago.
Well, Alex Lafreniere probably too.
I don't know. You think that actually the Rangers would give up on Lafreniere?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're ready to do that yet. Don't know if they're ready to do that.
I think that Kane would probably happily stay in Chicago and take maybe a bit more or less money. Again, I'm saying $7 to $9 million next year. But the problem is like, what does he want to do? Does he want to help the next generation, or does he want to win one more cup? Right? He's already going in the Hall of Fame first ballot. So
he wants to win a cup.
American players ever to play the game, but again, it's a matter of what do you think he wants to do. And I mean, some players at that point in their career, they just want to play and have fun and enjoy themselves, and that's it, right? And if anything, I think Taves is more likely gone than Kane. I think Kane will stay.
Interesting.
And maybe sign in the offseason.
Zill, you might be driving.
Tarasenko?
Is that who you're referring to? You think Tarasenko? Either that, Zill, or you're driving and texting at the same time. But Tarasenko to the Rangers, that's an interesting one.
I see him in the Islanders, but that's
yeah. Oh, you see, well, the Islanders were interested in him previously.
Yeah, and he could add that scoring depth that they need, and he's in his final year.
Yeah,
so we'll see. But they did just give up a first conditional, so I'm not too sure what's left for the Islanders. But again, younger players are getting paid for what they're going to perform. Jack Hughes is another example. He got paid, and he is now playing like it.
So right? I think the difference is the players, when they come out of UFA, they're still getting paid for what they did in their past, the older players. And the younger players are now getting their pay for what they could be. All they have to do is have a decent year, and they're going to get a good pay check. And that's why some teams right now that have signed players to between, say, 4.5 and 6 are excelling and have a good chance to win this year and next, say, is because they're keeping those players in the lump with a couple superstars, right? That's one of the reasons that I think that is helping the Avalanche, being careful, not saying we're going to pay Kadri all this extra money and keep them. They'd rather kind of work, maybe not do as well in the regular season, but know that for playoff time, we're going to have some guys and have more room with more depth.
Jonathan Huberdeau got paid for what he did last year, having 115 points in Florida.
Yes.
But now he's been struggling to even make up that ground, right? Like he's only having 50 or 60 points. He's really struggling in the system. So, and I think, as an aside, but I have one more comment. I think as an aside is I don't know if Calgary's making the playoffs. I really don't. And I think there's going to be some rumblings about Daryl Sutter out, because I don't think the team or the locker room is responding to his messaging or his systems. That's all. And so the incident with Jacob Pelcher, it didn't really bother me, but it's still nice for a kid to have his first experience. And when you have up north, U of A goalie come in and serve for 2 minutes versus Daryl Sutter not knowing who Jacob Pelche is, that shows you the contrast in terms of coaching methods and how it's changing, right? But as an aside, what I was going to say is that you look at teams that are looking at the trade deadline and what they can bring in this thing. The two teams that I'm really wondering about is Detroit and Boston, because as you talked about, some team or GMs will pay out players, but with Pasternak and all the players in Boston who take a discount, and with Dylan Larkin and Steve Yzerman putting a foot down about how much he's worth, those two will dictate whether or not those players will get paid, and they're worth it, especially Pasternak.
No, what is it? It's
looking at $9 million. He's
$9 million.
Yeah, and I think the line, I think he's starting at 8, and he's looking up. And I think Yzerman has a plan of maybe 7.5. So keep an eye on those two.
Here, ready for my prediction? He signs at 8.5 or 8.6
in Detroit.
Yeah. He'll get 8 I think he'll get his 8 years at like 8.5, 8.6. That's what I think he'll settle.
Here's my prediction. He goes, and who has picks and who has what's it called? Cap space. And can use a good center to bolster their chances in making a run this year. Hint, it's behind your wall.
Seattle. Yeah.
I on Horvat, and
so you think that they would put a trade in, do a trade?
Yeah, Seattle. Yeah, I think Ron Francis would. They have some expiring contracts next year, and you bring him in, and you still allow Shane Wright, who's been really dynamic in the AHL, to continue to flourish and develop.
Well, he's down. He's playing for the Windsor Spitfires now down in the OHL, however.
Sorry. Oh, yes. Yeah, because he got traded.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, let him continue to develop, build confidence, and you bring in a different center in the interim.
Yeah. Interesting, eh? With that. So I will say Jonathan Toews, I never thought I saw two reports, one's coming out of Minnesota, that Minnesota has interest in Jonathan Toews for a stretch run. Well, that would be the whole trade piece, right? Where they would eat half of the cap space, and they would have to send someone back. And you know who's always rumored as a defenseman is Matt Dumba. You wonder if would Chicago consider Matt Dumba the kind of player that can give you another 3-4 years while you're rebuilding?
Well, he's a UFA this summer, so
yeah. But they would plan to resign him. That would be the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And it would actually help on the cap.
I could see that happening, given how there's a few defensemen on the Chicago team that a lot of people are looking at, whether it's Jared McCabe or Sam Lafreniere. Lafferty.
Lafreniere. Oh man, Bob Stauffer of Oilers Now would not like you. He loves some Sam Lafferty.
You know what's lost in all of this is that there's been so much chatter about it beforehand and no talk is Jacob Chychrun.
Yes. And it's opening up. So it's interesting. Everybody was waiting out the Arizona Coyotes because they're thinking they're going to lower their price. Good on the Coyotes for holding on. And now here's why. What if they get Connor Bedard or Adam Fantilli, right? In the top 1 or 2. One of those players. Connor's ready to step in next year, more likely than not, 95% chance. Adam Fantilli, maybe he spends one more year before he steps up, which is fine in the desert while they're building that new arena. I mean, but no better way to help you on that arena deal, right? Than sell it if you get a Connor Bedard. But even so, Jacob Chychrun going out with what they want, they can really rebuild if someone's willing to pay. And more teams are now starting to look, except what looks like what they wanted 2 first rounds. Maybe it's 1 first round with a second or third, but they want a player who is a first round selection that is treading well. By the way, if you got a first rounder that's not treading well, do not think they're going to take him for Jacob Chychrun. I think they're going to hold out and they're going to still get a fairly good package. And it's all because of a good contract that you're buying. That's the reason. So, hey, Richard. All right, man. Well, any last thoughts? We're going to call it a wrap today.
No, it's been a fun show. It's been a ring-a-ding-dang-dang or whatever you say. I can't even repeat myself.
Ring-a-ding-dang-dong-dandy.
Some words, some noises come out of your mouth. Sounds like my son at night when he's sleeping. So that's what you sound like. But no, it's been a fun show. I'm sorry, Glenn, we didn't get you on the show. We hope to have you back soon. We really want to pick your brain about some stuff. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again. Remember to give us a like, share, subscribe, and follow every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We love checking in. When you can't make it, make sure to follow afterwards. We are now on Spotify and Amazon Music, which is really awesome. So give us a follow. It's pretty cool, and we hope to connect with you guys and keep sending us suggestions. Evan, final thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's been some good hockey coming out of the All-Star break in the NHL. Right now, pay attention to your junior hockey. Get out, support them, whether they're rebuilding or not. Their teams only take 2 years to rebuild a junior team and get yourself back out in there and ready. And if you're close to an ECHL or an American Hockey League team, do that too. And for those that are following in Nevada, over in Florida and California, Alabama. Thank you guys.
My brother-in-law is in Alabama right now.
Oh, maybe it's him. He's our one person. No, joking. And then as well as New York, Pennsylvania. You guys are awesome. State of Minnesota. And then also thank you for those over in Europe right now when you guys are catching us always post-show. Last week, again, you guys are great. Always coming on and checking things out. So want to say thank you so much. So, again, it's been a ring-a-ding-dong-dandy. But in the meantime and in between time,
keep your sticks on the ice. Stay safe, everyone.